And welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's presentation of Minor League Esports. Coming at you tonight with a lot of great twos matches. We're going to start off with Academy League, Flames versus the Sharks. I'm Nigel Thornbrake, and joining me here in the booth today is Pandy. How you doing, Pandy?
Fantastic, Nigel. Happy to be here for the first stream of for the first match of the night, second stream of the weekend. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the stream.
Yep, looking forward to it. We had a couple of great matches last night, and we're going to be bringing 4 more to you today. Like I said, we're starting off with Academy League, the Flames versus the Sharks. This will be a twos match, as will everything else that will be streaming to you tonight. We're just waiting on the lobby to get set up and the players to get ready before we get things kicked off here. One thing interesting to note about the Flames is that we had, they were just featured on the MLE website, right? Gaming Bear wrote that article where they said that they were actually going to be the eventual champions of the season. What do you think about their chances there?
That's a pretty bold call out before even week 1 begins. So we'll see how the Flames can live up to that expectation from Gaming Bear, and we'll see if they can take down these Sharks team. The Sharks are definitely going to be hungry to bite off these Flames and start off this season with a bang.
Yeah, but as we know, you have to be careful when you're going up against something that hot like a flame, or you might get burned. Yeah. So now that we've got the terrible puns out of the way, we're just about ready to get kicked off here. I will be trying to keep an eye out here and see what the Flames really look like. We have DV and its Hyper lining up for the Flames versus Texas Cyclone and the Big C for the Sharks. We're just about ready to get kicked off here.
Yeah, both these teams once again looking to start this one off. This is week 1, so both these teams are looking to start off their season with a fantastic one. Now Texas Cyclone early off the kickoff there, Nigel, is a quick chance. It's Hyper. She makes a great save there on the net. Once again, the Sharks now looking to start this one out quick.
I like the aggression there from Cyclone. It was definitely a risky play, but Big C was far enough back to, manage to keep the ball in front of him and make sure that the Flames weren't able to escape on the counter. Close shot there, though, from Big C. Cyclone not able to put it away.
The Flames really on their back foot to start this game out so far. Is the Sharks already have 3 shots to their name. The Flames, another chance. DV sends that one just off the mark. Once again, it's Hyper sends one off the backboard. These teams definitely starting out with a lot of pressure. A goal to start. DV is going to get the Flames started.
Catches Cyclone out of position there, a little bit awkward, probably low on boost as well here, backing up towards the post there, and DV just sends it right down the middle, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, that disruption touch there from its Hyper really started that play off. DV there with the rebound. The Sharks really couldn't gain their footing there in the net. So great job by the Flames to get this thing started early. And just up to the Sharks once again to see how other rotations can get them. It's Hyper absolutely buries that one from midfield. Make it 2 for the Flames.
That was full send. She wasted no time getting up in the air for this and just absolutely dusted Cyclone with the ball. No contest. And it's 2-0 Flames. One thing that I think is pretty interesting here is we've seen a lot of big commits from the Sharks. We're seeing them being aggressive. We're seeing them commit hard in the air, but not necessarily connecting with good touches, which is something that's really important in twos. You have to stay on the ball. You have to keep the ball in front of you and do what you want with it. Otherwise, it's opposing team is going to make you look silly sometimes.
Yeah, and one thing I really noticed so far that's really showing a lot of success for the Flames is the fact that they're giving each other a lot of space. Both these teammates that look like they've been playing together for a while, at least had a really nice warm-up before the series began, but it seems like they're giving each other a lot of space. You see D there on the ball, it's Hyper really with a spaced rotation back, and now you see it's Hyper off the ball. DV looking for one, that's just high off the backboard. You see them really giving each other as much space as they want, and that's the key to success here in 2v2 specifically. The Sharks struggling with that just a little bit, but it seems like they're really starting to get things going now.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance problem. We see right now the Flames looking like they're having a better command of their positioning on the field. Like you mentioned, they have the right amount of space. It's not, Cyclone just absolutely smashes a 50 through, gets the breakaway goal, and the Sharks are now back within 1.
Yeah, it seems like DV was kind of left alone there as that back rotation just wasn't really there for the Flames. Great job by Texas Cyclone seeing that open net from afar and slotting that one home.
Yeah, we do see their aggression pay off. So again, it'll be interesting to see. The Sharks are taking more risks, and sometimes they're going to pay off. And it's always a question of whether the Flames can stand up to the pressure and whether they can fight back.
TV looking for a dunk there, not going to go. The Big C, haven't seen much of them so far in this game, but definitely stepping up to the plate now and trying to make as big of a play as they can. DV with a controlled touch off the wall. That was a tough one for Texas Cyclone, but he gets it done. Big C now, touch. That just unable to make a connection there. It's Hyper the touch out. DB to follow. And it really seems like the Sharks are starting to mount a counterattack here.
I like to see what Cyclone is doing here, where there's a lot of looking for bumps. Coming off the ball, making your touch, looking to follow through with a bump on the net, or even a defensive bump like we saw just saved a goal there on the last offensive position from the Flames. I like that transition. I like that change in tactic from the Cyclone, from the Sharks. And we'll see whether it ultimately pays off here or not.
Yeah, and that's one thing that everyone that has ever played twos in Rocket League knows, that bumps and demos are a really big part of the game. If you demo somebody, that's literally half as many players that are left on the field at that time. So bumps, and specifically key timed bumps like that, relieving pressure, controlled pressure is such a huge thing in twos. It's going to be a 1v1. Texas Cyclone looking for one backboard rebound for Big C, shut down by DV, and pressure control once again coming in clutch for the Flames.
Couldn't quite get it done, and the Flames very, very calm under that pressure, very collected in the net, which is nice to see. Oh, and an excellent counterattack. Hyper, leaving no doubt about it. She's not missing these opportunities that the Sharks are giving her.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate 50 there from Texas Cyclone to the wall. Big C just couldn't get back in time. May have been a rushed 50 because Texas Cyclone, your teammate, wasn't necessarily back yet. A great capitalization by its Hyper. She's doing a great job so far in this game of showcasing some pressure that the Sharks are really struggling to control.
It also goes to show that, if you're going to make the call and you're going to audible in the middle of the game and start going for a lot of bumps and trying to throw the other team off their rotation,
there you go.
You're necessarily going to cause them to be more alert of where you are on the field. And if you then soften up and change your tactic and say, okay, I'm going to quit going for bumps, you might end up not liking the result because they might just overwhelm you with pressure now because they're paying much more attention to where you are. And that seems to be what happened there for the Sharks on that last goal.
Yeah, and overextensions too can be a big issue. Kind of building off what you're saying too, is changing up playstyles can be a little nerve-wracking because, especially mid-game, because you have what works, you have what may not work in a rotation, and trying to change that at mid-game may throw off your teammate and throw off your team chemistry. And it really seems like the Sharks are just trying to take this game one to kind of get things situated. Now this is week one, so it's just kind of to be expected. Stream jitters also a big factor in that as well. But it seems like the Flames once again seem a lot more calm, controlled in this game. And that's going to show with the 2-goal lead.
Absolutely. I mean, the stream jitters are real there. Cyclone getting absolutely handed the ball on the plate there by Hyper and not missing it. Which, when you're talking about stream jitters, missing an open net is something that happens far more often than we'd like to admit.
Yeah, most people are like, hey, I'm really comfortable playing on stream, but on a big stage stream like this in front of 150 people, it's pretty easy to kind of let your nerves get in the way of your skills. But once again, the Sharks capitalize kind of on a missed touch there from Hyper. Hyper looking to get that one back, but 16 seconds, the Sharks are going to need a counterattack here.
That was an excellent demo from Cyclone, really opening up the counterattack here. They have to go fast. Hyper's back. They don't manage to get it there. Can Big C bring it back? Nice touch into the corner, see if they can make another one off the backboard. Keep the ball in the air, and not enough. Flames take game one.
Flames able to hang on there, the flurry of shots, able to get the job done. Unfortunately, their offense couldn't hang on as long as they would have liked. But the Sharks, great job shutting down the pressure that was really presented to them in the first half of the game and coming out on top as far as the shots go, with 9 shots compared to 8 for the Flames. But the Sharks just unable to get to that mark of just short by 1 goal there. But the Flames, good job getting it done. A lot of pressure early, able to go the stretch of the way there.
I like that you point out, 9 shots to 8 there, I think tells an interesting story. Not just that the Sharks won on shots or had more shots and had more pressure than the Flames, but really that the Flames had more quality touches and they had better looks at the net. And that's something that you just won't see on the stat line at the end of the replay, but was pretty obvious as we were watching it back. It'd be interesting to see now, Flames go up 1-0 in the series. Of course, we're going to play all 5 because this is minor league esports. We play all 5 here. We'll see what sort of adjustments the Sharks are making. We'll see what sort of adjustments, if any, the Flames are going to make, whether they're just going to come out here and continue to play their game, play this patient possession ball that we saw took them to a win in game 1, and whether the Sharks are going to change it up.
Yeah, and I think that first game really, especially with this being week 1, is just kind of a test for both of these teams, just to kind of see what works. It could be the first time these players have played with each other for very long, and especially on a big stage like this, like we mentioned, it could be coming down to just trying to get things worked out. And I think both teams were really seeing a lot of kind of some sloppy gameplay in the first game, but I mean, it really wasn't all that bad. Both teams just kind of, again, looking to see what works, trying to build a rotation, some team chemistry there in that first game, and ultimately, again, the Flames just kind of came out stronger in that first game, but I have no doubt that the Sharks will build one back here.
Absolutely. And one thing I really like to see there from Cyclone already is controlling that mid boost. Even though DV was pressed up behind, or actually, behind Cyclone, he went and took this mid boost here, trying to make sure that they were going to have a relief valve, get some of that pressure off of them, because the Flames wouldn't be able to keep up without that boost.
And that's a reminder, too. Kickoffs are so important in twos. You may just have a kickoff goal not go your way, and it's so hard to let that just damage your mental. And fortunately, we haven't seen much of that so far in the series really at all. That touch just barely saved away by DV. Good show of mechanics there in the net. But kickoffs are such an important role, Nigel, and controlling that mid boost is a big key role. And it seems like the Sharks are so far in this game are doing a great job of it.
Absolutely. And honestly, that same could be said about really any of the modes in this game. Rocket League very much, whether it's a puck, whether it's a ball, whether you're talking about a hoop, or there's 3 players on the field or 2, controlling the midfield is probably one of the fundamental skills, like maybe the most important skill that a team can have. As the team that controls the midfield there, like the Flames just do to him right there, big stuff, big 50 at the midfield line. Big C doesn't have a touch on it. Hyper rips a shot. Cyclone not ready for it, and the Flames go up 1-0.
That's a beautiful shot there from its Hyper, recognizing that there was no defender on the right side of the net. Goes back door, gets the Flames up 1-0.
I mean, so far, this stream has been it's Hyper show. She's really, like I said earlier, she's not missing the opportunities that the Sharks are giving her. They're making mistakes. They're small, and she's absolutely cracking them open and making them pay for it.
Yeah, and that really comes down to, as well, a skilled player that is its Hyper. It comes down to how well your second man's going to be in DV. They really, I believe 4 saves last game, really complimenting its Hyper thus far in this series, allowing its Hyper to play as aggressive as she wants to. Aggressive being there, an absolute clanger of a shot on net, save, top shelf.
I love to see that, because shots like that tend to open up a defense. You got to get somebody to commit on the save. Oh, and there you have it. Hyper drills another one. You pull the first guy out of the net with that shot, and then the second man rotates back in. But if he's a little slow, like Big C was right there, Hyper has an easy drill there.
I love that disruption touch from DV off the backboard. It's such a hard read to make, especially in twos. You got your one teammate overcommitted. DV makes that touch high to the backboard. It's so easy just to say, hey, I'm just going to try and take a shot here. But I believe Big C would have had a save if it was a direct shot. That disruption touch really took Big C out of the question, because they didn't have much boost in the tank, and its Hyper was ready to slam it down midfield. And that's just a perfect example of it. Off the kickoff, its Hyper once again, another chance saved away. Texas Cyclone. Some good acrobatics there in the net to keep it out.
And good discipline from DV not to commit there. It looked like the net was going to be open. It looked like an easy opportunity to go up 3-0. But the discipline to stay grounded there and to not get beat on the counterattack was excellent. I think that's really the difference between the Sharks and the Flames right now. This excellent second man play, keeping the ball on the Sharks side. Close there with almost with the Doomsy dish from Hyper.
Gotta love the Doomsy dish from Hyper. There's another chance. DV out of the corner, just can't reach the touch there. It's Hyper, another chance, rebound. Texas Cyclone just able to keep the elbow in front of it and keep it out of the net. Big C counterattack mounting for the Sharks. One they haven't seen much of this game, but DV coming in huge with the hitbox, sees a long bomb goal, make it 3 goals.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet a little bit of money here that DV doesn't make that one again. I think that's just one of those 50s coming out and going your way. We take those. And yeah, 3-0 Flames.
Yeah, DV is just all over that challenge, seeing that net is open. But again, you can't really calculate that touch that much. See calculated kind of, that's usually when that calculated quick check comes out. But the Flames definitely was showing a lot of pressure here. You got its Hyper with 7 shots compared to the Sharks' total of 1 in this one, Nigel.
Yeah, and so what we're seeing here is really just the mental game is starting to fall apart for the Sharks, and it's really starting to open up for the Flames. They have a big lead. They've shown that they can maintain the pressure and they can maintain the possession and they can kind of hang it out. DV making excellent saves like that in the net is saying, you guys really aren't that much of a threat, and I don't have to play so far back and play so soft on you in a second, man. I'm going to keep the pressure up. And the Sharks really have been unable to capitalize on the opportunities that affords them. So right here, if you're, the captain or the coach of this team, this is when you're on the comms with folks saying, like, we need to really change things up. We need to not let these guys get us down. We need to get back in their faces, at least get one here, try to come back in the series and not let the entire series run away from you.
That's exactly it, and it's the same story on the Flames as well. It's so easy to see such a lead, to see a lot of success in these first 2 games, and just it's so easy to get complacent with a lead, especially at 3-0. You got 30 seconds to go. You get confident, start to make some lackluster touches that may just fall into the hands of the other team. But it really seems like the Flames are not doing that. We had one touch earlier from It's Hyper that could have been a goal, but it's DV again with the great assist in the net just to keep it out.
An excellent clear there from Hyper. You can tell that she's really locked in right now. So even if their mental is starting to slack a little bit, the touches are still coming out excellently. Everything looks crisp. Cyclone, though, with an excellent bomb from midfield. What a touch. That's the kind of stuff you love to see. At least just get one here. Try to bring your team back into it. Try to bring your mental back into it. Catches Hyper going to the corner for boost. Can't make the save.
Cyclone saw that open net from when It's Hyper was left and turned to go get that boost. Texas Cyclone was like, I'm scoring this, giving my team the best chance possible, but 5 seconds is not going to be enough. It's Hyper one for the road. It's not going to go, and this ball is just waiting to drop. Flames will take game 2. Oh,
what a follow-up there. I love it. I love to see that, even though it's dead time. The game's over. You're not going to win. I love to see that they stay on the ball. I love to see that they're just trying to find ways to score because they know. I think Cyclone or Big C, one of them has recognized, like, hey, we're really getting clobbered here. We need to make a change. We need to kind of reset our mental, find a way through on the Flames. And if I'm in there in that conversation with them, I'm telling them the way through on Flames is to demo and bump Hyper. Make her life miserable for the next game, take her out of the equation, and make DV beat you. Because so far they've shown they can have some success against DV. It's Hyper who really is kind of pushing the scale out of balance in favor of the Flames. So you take her out of the equation, bump her, demo her, take her off the map. And then you probably stand a better chance. The question is, of course, that's a risky play style, and you can always leave yourself open to counterattack. So we'll see, which way they decide to go. Are they going to stick with more of the same, or are they going to try to switch it up? What do you think?
I think the Flames kind of stay with what they have. It's Hyper with 11 shots. It's Hyper with 9 shots. The Flames with a total of 11. I definitely agree with you. Sharks are going to try and get some more to get physical here because it's Hyper. There's nothing stopping her right now. With 9 shots and 2s, that is a really hard force to stop. And Texas Cyclone, I kind of have to go back about that last goal. It's easy to say, hey, it's a second goal, 0 seconds. They still lost the game. That's a big goal anyways, because it gets the mental up for the Sharks. They saw an opening from the Flames. They saw them kind of think, oh, this game's over. We've got this game. The Sharks are like, heck no, we're still going. We still have pressure. We're going to still try and net this goal. And they did that exactly. Momentum is a big part of 2v2s, especially in a league like this with 5 games. Momentum is what was gained there with that last goal. So the Sharks, you could see a little bit of fire lit underneath them, despite the fact that they're playing against the Flames. We could see them with a mental shift here.
Yeah, you love to see it. So now we're finally back in the game 3 here, back on the field, and the Sharks had the possession, trying to make something happen here on the Flames side of the field. Not able to get anything there. Big C trying to keep it there, but it's Hyper with a counterattack. Doesn't look like that touch is on, but can DV follow it up? No, Cyclone's there. Doesn't make the touch. Big C gets it out in time.
Hyper having to stretch out and make a save there in the corner. Good controlled possession. That one could be a throwaway touch. Big C looking to receive it there in the corner, but DV once again, huge clear defensive player of the series without a doubt. And it seems like the Sharks are really just starting to put as much pressure as they can. They're doing a great job of it, but pressure control again for the Flames is one thing that's really topping them right now.
And I think we're seeing a little bit of that physical gameplay from the Sharks, and they're definitely, I think we've already seen 2 or 3 big bumps on It's Hyper, disrupting her on offense. Now, if they can manage to do the same thing on defense, I think we'll see the Sharks finally start to put some goals in the net and, have a chance at winning a game or 2. There you go, right there. Cyclone makes an excellent touch all the way down the field, tracking that ball through the air. This is one of the harder things to do in Rocket League.
Yeah, that was a beautiful angle touch there off the wall. It's so easy just to slam it into the wall, to just accept defeat, as Hyper was just kind of covering that corner base wall there. And Texas Cyclone saw an opening. He saw the net wide open. He said, hey, I think I'm just going to make an angle touch, try and pass it to myself off the wall. It's exactly what he did. Found the net there for the Sharks, their first lead of the series.
Love to see it. Love to see it. They still have the fight left in them. Let's see if they can keep their foot on the gas pedal here and keep the Sharks or the Flames from coming back. But DV with a nice response, and we're back to even in the game.
That's a bit of a throwaway touch there from Cyclone. It was kind of a big risk to go for because there was nobody else back. He's second man, no one else behind him, and tried to self-pass off the wall. Did the same thing as the last goal, saying, hey, I think that worked. I'm going to try it again. But hit it a bit too high. Mechanics weren't necessarily there to receive it off the wall, and Flames capitalize once again. That's one thing that's a story we've been seeing over and over with its Hyper and DV is making the Sharks pay for mistakes that they make.
Absolutely. The Flames have been absolutely relentless in punishing mistakes, which is what you hate to face in this game, because nobody wants to have to play perfect Rocket League. We like to have the freedom to make mistakes, to go for things that we're not 100% confident touches and challenges that we're going to make. We like to have that freedom, but if you're playing against somebody who's as good at punishing your mistakes as this Flames team is, it just makes the game slightly less fun, and it kind of drains the mojo that you're trying to get out there.
And on the other end of that spectrum, it's so fun to force a team that's sitting there like the Flames. They're so comfortable. Every touch is theirs. The game is pretty much in their hands. It's so fun to take a team like that and force them to be uncomfortable, turn it around, and win it here. They're about halfway through the series now. Game 3 just reached half point, and the Sharks definitely are not out of it by any means. Big C, there's a 50. The Cyclone is really starting to mount a counterattack here for the Sharks, and it seems like the Flames, their pressure is really starting to slow down here. They only have 2 shots. The Sharks only have 1, as this game has been pretty midfield, but it seems like the Sharks are really starting to turn things around for them.
Yeah, I like to see it, and they like you said, the Sharks aren't out of the series. They still have the ability to even come out with a series win. Of course, they have to go for the reverse sweep here. Got to win 3 of the 5-game series in order to win it. Oh, and what a beautiful touch from Hyper! What a beautiful 50 from DV! Just real strong ball control, and there's no, just as simple as that.
Yeah, you got to give credit there. That's a great pass to DV. It's a bit of a dangerous spot to put it in, but it's Hyper able to get it done. The double 50 dunk off the ceiling, pass back to herself. The Flames take their first lead of this game, and once again, back to work for them. The Sharks looking just to try to regain from that shot. Back door, no good. Big C, good save.
And I think this comes back to something I think we were talking about in game 1 or game 2, when we were talking about how Rocket League is so much a game of controlling the midfield. And wow, DV just absolutely slots it from the corner there. You see that the Flames are just absolutely not relenting in their pressure. They're not letting the Sharks get comfortable. They're not letting them get out of their own back third, and they're just controlling the entire midfield. And it results in you getting opportunities to just slot a shot there from the corner and go up 2.
And that's one big thing that the Flames have in their playbook, is just trying to make a touch at any point the ball is near them. The Sharks are trying so hard to gain a possession and to try and connect passes between each other, but you see it's Hyper and DV just positioning in the middle of the pass lanes, in the middle of the wall, just preventing any sort of touch that would leak through to their half, and they're trying so hard to keep as much pressure as they can. Once again, there's another chance. DV, another shot just off the post. It's Hyper. Once again, still applying so much pressure for the Flames and not giving the Sharks any chance at an offensive attack.
That was really, really an intelligent touch here from its Hyper, just waiting just on the corner of the post there. DV passing it right onto her hood, almost getting it through there, almost sneaking it through, but thankfully Big C was there for the Sharks, keeps it out. But yeah, we're finally starting to see the Flames' offensive pressure relent. The Sharks were able to survive it long enough to get them to go back to their own half. But it's just been an absolute onslaught from the Flames here. They're not letting the Sharks get comfortable. They're not letting the Sharks have their touches, make their plays anywhere on the field, not even on their offensive half, but even in getting out of their own defensive half. And that's really the story of this series.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then in the last minute and a half, we've seen 7 shots from the Flames and 0 from the Sharks. That just showcases how much pressure there has been. But despite that, Texas Cyclone will finally find the net after a 4-minute scoring drought. The demo comes in clutch. Unfortunately, Hyper just couldn't reach it in the net, and they still have a chance here.
They do. I mean, the game's not over. 10 seconds, anything can happen, especially in twos. I mean, we could see the ball go in right here off the kickoff. It doesn't go the Sharks' way. Almost goes the Flames' way. And Hyper will be there to put it away. And now the game is pretty much over. I mean, you can still get two goals in 3 seconds, so it's not mathematically impossible yet. It's just exceedingly unlikely.
Yeah, it's Hyper with the nail in the coffin, as we can call it there. Game 3 likely to go to the Flames. And that's disregarding a crazy miracle here for the Sharks. But with that ball will finally drop down to the ground. The Flames will win the series, but we will play all 5 to give the Sharks the best chance possible at a comeback here. But the Flames, great job controlling this game. Once again, despite the fact that the Sharks were knocking on the door, the Flames able to slam it shut.
Yeah, it was honestly really excellent composure demonstrated there by both It's Hyper and DV to hold strong. The Sharks came out of the gate really fast. They came out and got a lot of pressure. They got a quick goal, and it looked like, hey, we might see this series turn around. And the Flames calmly, collectively said, no, here's how things are going to go. And that's the kind of play you need to see from a team who said, hey, we're going to win the ship. Well, so far they're playing like it. Although, granted, we have a very limited sample size. It's only been 3 games and 1 opponent. So, we'll see how that trend continues over the course of the season.
Yeah, and again, like you said, the Flames are really showing that they could be that championship caliber team. The Sharks definitely, again, are so close to just so close to knocking on the door to these Flames team, and it's just up to It's Hyper and DV just to shut them down as well as they can. But you can't count out Texas Cyclone here. 2 saves, 2 goals, has seen at least a goal every game in this series. He's definitely giving himself the best chance possible. The Big C is there to assist him as well, and it's just going to go to the Sharks to how well they can adjust here. They still got 2 more games to try and make it work. They did lose the series, but to make this one the least painful loss as possible, I think it's really going to come down to some physical play from them. It's one thing we really haven't seen, and I think a possible change in physical play could be the key to success here.
If I'm looking for the one change that the Sharks could make to significantly improve their chances, we talked about it, it's got to be physical play, but I think it's got to come from Big C. I think that Big C has got to come out of the shell, quit sitting on the back post and playing timid and getting beat. And try to open things up for the Sharks and let Cyclone do the work that Cyclone's here to do.
Texas Cyclone, there's a chance off the back wall. This touch, unfortunate miss from Texas Cyclone. The Sharks are going to need that one back. You just can't be making those misses against a team like this.
Absolutely. You have to drain every opportunity that you get. And like we were saying at the beginning of the game here, the Sharks still are going to play. We're going to play all 5 games, and there really is a huge difference, even for all of the standings in MLE, whether you go 3-2 versus 5-0 versus getting 4-1, right? Because standings are calculated on a game standings basis and not on a series win basis. So even though the Sharks have lost the series, these next 2 games still matter because they could be as I'm talking about their chances, they leave the net wide open. It's Hyper, doesn't miss. She's there to drill it home, and the Flames go up 1-0.
That tasty boost was looking nice and juicy there in the corner. Texas Cyclone saw it and was like, I think I'm going to go grab this, and forgot that the net was wide open. Once again, great job by It's Hyper, making them pay for it again. The Flames go up 1-0.
And I think it just comes down to the fact that the Big C is just losing the 50 game here. You saw it happen there, but we've seen it happen probably 5 or 6 times throughout the last 3 games, where the Sharks are making a rotation. One of them's going back for boost, expecting his teammate to keep the ball and not get completely dunked. And then that is exactly what happens. Opens up the net for the Flames, and they don't miss.
Big C chance midfield. Like you said, it's going to be a matter of activating Big C here. You see Texas Cyclone throwing his life at the ball every time he goes for it. He wants to win this series so bad. But it's just, again, going to be a matter of activating Big C. I know this player has what it takes to take this series and to give themselves the best chance possible. But it seems like team chemistry isn't really as adept as it should be for the Sharks. Once again, it's going to be DV and making them pay.
And that's just absolutely 100% powerful 50 game from DV. DV gets in front of that ball, gets goal side, and says, this ball is not going anywhere. And both the Sharks still. And next thing you know, he walks it into the net.
Sharks definitely still not out of it. The Flames, however, have the driver's seat underneath them and the wheel in hand. Texas Cyclone just looking to get some sort of counterattack mounted, but Big C is going to have to settle for this one in the corner. That shot just high up the crossbar. That one just off the mark. Once again, it's Hyper wanting to apply as much pressure as possible, but the lack of aggressive challenges from the Sharks is really opening up as many chances as the Flames want, and that's just kind of the key here. The Flames have as many chances as they would like. They can apply as much pressure as they want, like this right here. Wow. Staying right in the net and not challenging that ball immediately just opened up the chance for its Hyper to get as close as she wanted to the goal and flick it in.
And I mean, she's demonstrated time and time again in this series that if you give her space, she's gonna ball you. Yeah. And that's precisely what the Sharks just did, and that's exactly what she did. She says, look, you gotta respect me, or she's gonna walk all over you.
One shot for the Sharks. Definitely not the way they want this one to go. Just trying to get a win underneath their belt, but this is week one. All about experience, trying to get the team chemistry going. But again, it seems like the Flames are really started on top of this one. That shot almost a miss, but Big C will take it. The post helps him out.
I mean, if you think about it, this really isn't a bad shot. This is as far away physically from DV as Big C could possibly put it. Yeah. Excellently placed. Top bins. Nice shot.
Sharks definitely trying to show signs of life here. Big C, that's a great start. Like we said, activating Big C is the key to success here. There's a touch. Texas Cyclone. It's going to be an awkward one in net. Will fall in the net. Assist to Big C off the kickoff. And like we said, kickoffs are going to be very important. Sharks right back in it.
This just goes to show you, twos is such a dynamic mode that you're almost never really sure that the game is going to go the way you think it is, and the game's almost never really over until the clock hits 0 because of just how fast it can happen. You know, it's been 6 game seconds now. It was 3-0 10 game seconds ago, and now it's 2-3.
Kickoff's definitely a very important aspect of 2v2s, arguably the most important despite 1v1s being a thing. But this touch, Big C not going to be able to find it, but Texas Cyclone is able to bail him out there for the time being. Looking for a connection here. The flick past one. DV's going to have to get back. Texas Cyclone 1v1 chance, but just kind of loses it on the dribble, and the Flames are going to go the other way.
Almost well executed. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it this entire series. The Texas Cyclone has the mechanics. He has the ball control. He can absolutely go down the field and score on both of these players. But, you know, sometimes you get the opportunity, the touch just isn't there, or you lose the handle on it, and it doesn't go your way.
Yeah, that's just another example of that. The Sharks are just so close to meeting that mark, but just can't quite reach it. It seems like they're always one goal behind the Flames. There's never a massive lead. Maybe we've seen a couple of 3-goal leads at a time, but the Sharks are just able to just kind of build a lead back. And I think that's a matter of sometimes just getting a little overconfident for the Flames. We saw that there. They're up 3 goals, kind of give up 2 easy ones, but it seems like they're kind of back in the right direction here, looking to slow down that mounting pressure there from the Sharks.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little bit of the Flames easing up and then realizing that, hey, the Sharks team is good. And if you give them too much space and you just stop respecting them and start, you know, playing real soft on them, they're going to come back and clap you. I agree with you. They really, even though the series so far, 3-0, no wins for the Sharks, I think the series has been much closer than that stat line would lead you to believe.
Texas Cyclone looking for one just to get his team back in it here. DV looking to shut that down, give him no chance. The air dribble chance from DV shut down Texas Cyclone, but that double commit is going to give the Sharks another chance on offense. Big C scooping it up, big 50 midfield, but Texas Cyclone hungry for boost once again is going to leave the net wide open and not enough time to come back here. It looks like the Flames ultimately will take game for its Hyper just to put the nail in the coffin once again. That chance for the Sharks just kind of lost it.
And honestly, I mean, I don't want to beat up on Texas Cyclone here, but you know, that's 2 or 3 open that's in this game. We've seen him miss there. That was a big throwaway. You hate to see it. It happens, you know, stream nerves, trying to get one game out of a tough series, whatever the reason is. You never like to see it, but those are opportunities you can't afford to throw away.
Yeah, and especially in a league with high stakes as this, the Flames are going to punish you for it. That's one thing we've been seeing with its Hyper and DV this entire time. 14 shots is a really hard force to stop, especially if you're the Sharks here. You only have just a handful of shots every game. We saw 6, which is more than we've seen the entire series. Good for them. But when you have the open net chances, you have to take them. The Flames are not going to give you that many chances. And with 3 missed open nets in a game like this, that's a game changer. 3 missed open nets makes this game 5-2 and possibly a win for the Sharks. So it's just going to come down to consistency and how well they can punish the net.
Absolutely. So like we've mentioned here, every game matters, and that's why we play all 5 in MLE, because ultimately everybody is ranked and stacked based upon, you know, how many games they won, how many games they lost. So the Sharks still have one more chance here to show that they can beat this Flame squad, even if it's only for 1 game out of the 5. And they've shown flashes of brilliance here. I mean, that shot that just came up on the replay from Big C, they're really just slamming it into the crosspost and getting it to sneak past. They have the ability, they have the mechanical ability, and when they put it together and they work well together, they can get past both of these folks on the Flames. It's just a matter of being able to do that consistently for 5 minutes that we haven't seen them be able to do. We've seen them, you know, have mental lapses. We've seen them make small mistakes. Can they put one last shot together at 5 minutes here and actually get one of the game wins out of the series? We'll find out.
That is the big question. Can the Sharks pull it through, or will the Flames be the ones to punish them and slam the door in a clean sweep? The Sharks not looking to let that happen. But again, Nigel, like you said, it's going to come down to how well they can be consistent with open nets and not letting that nice little boost in the corner tempt them too much to defer from their rotations. But hot off the start already, the Flames with 2 shots. Texas Cyclone long bomb chance, but man, DV stretching up and making the save, keeping it out of their goal.
And honestly, what an excellent and beautifully mechanical touch there from DV to not just make the save, but to take it out to the corner, to safety, and now excellent counterattack, and the Flames immediately on top. They're 27 seconds in, 1-0.
That's a good point you made there, too. It's so easy just to make a save and be like, hey, I'm just going to make the save, and wherever this ball goes, I'm just going to try and react to it. But no, DV made sure they made that touch to the corner, just a perfect enough a position for its Hyper to take over and just surge the other way and just take advantage of the open net. The Sharks are really trying some all-or-nothing plays here. And while, yes, they may work, you got to make sure you're scoring those all-or-nothing plays. And that's one thing we have, again, like we've said, we have seen some inconsistencies with. Here's Texas Cyclone, 1 chance, DV able to cover it up.
What a demo from its Hyper there to relieve the pressure of that attack. If that demo doesn't go through, Cyclone has a great look at the net, and I'm pretty sure he puts that one away.
Yeah, especially with how we've seen a lot during this series. We've seen some missed nets from Texas Cyclone, but this being game 5, they're warm. They've been playing for a while now, about 40 minutes. So I don't see Texas Cyclone missing out another chance, especially with the stakes being this high. Here's one trying to make me prove my point, but DV again coming in clutch on defense with a huge hitbox there, able to keep it out. Flames still up 1-0. Absolute
brick wall. DV has been that this entire series. He knows how to get wide, he knows how to get ball side and drill through the center of the ball and not let it past him. And time again, the Sharks keep trying to find some way to get it through. Wow, what a save again! DV is just absolutely a human highlight reel right now.
Yeah, both of these players from the Flames are just somehow keeping the shots out of the net. You got to give credit to the Sharks for putting on so much pressure, but they're rotating very high, Nigel. They got to be careful as this counterattack for the Flames is really dangerous. Here's a chance. It's Hyper. That's one that's just sent high, but the pass backboard is going to be good for DV. Plenty enough to work with. 2-0 Flames.
What an excellent team play here. It was a great pass from DV to start. Hyper realizes that the net is defended and doesn't take the shot, puts it on the backboard because she knows that DV's going to be right there behind her to take the follow-on shot. Big C not able to get in front of it. Just absolutely beautiful team play. It's the kind of stuff we really love to see here in MLE.
Yeah, and it's the high IQ touches, especially. It's Hyper there, just kind of tossing that one to the backboard, knowing that Texas Cyclone couldn't make the touch. Buries another one from the right side, and once again, high IQ touches, great placement from its Hyper. She has been on fire this entire series.
Absolutely. She is absolutely relentless. You give her any amount of space, and she's coming to drill that ball home. And she's not letting it up, you know? Not taking the foot off the gas pedal. You love to see it. That's just excellent play from Hyper.
I would really love to see the Sharks try to get one in here, because we saw them earlier with a big flurry of shots on net. 3 shots really quickly, but that's just not the way they want that one to go. Overcommit second man, just going to open up the net, and as we've said this whole time, 4-0, it's Hyper just going to keep punishing you if you leave it open.
Absolutely. But honestly, this comes back to what we've been saying about DV. This really isn't an overcommit from the second man. This is just an absolute stomp of a 50 from DV at the midline. Right, that's what opens this play up. DV is relentless again. Both these Flames players, they're just playing amazingly. So, I think when it comes down to it, at least as far as we've seen from this series, I'd say their chances are not bad of living up to that hype they were giving themselves at the beginning of the season with that MLE website article.
Ooh, there's another chance. It's Hyper able to slot it bottom right. They get 5 goals, 4 for It's Hyper. This player is absolutely on fire. DV, the credit to the touch there, making Big C awkward in net, and just the Flames just have what it takes here. They're really just throwing out as much as they have, putting it out on the table, and just getting it done.
Well, and then a kickoff goal, and so the Sharks starting to climb their way back into it. But honestly, I think that somebody on the Flames is listening to the stream, and they heard you last game talk about how the Sharks have always been 1 goal behind the Flames, and it's not really been that big of a blowout. And they said, we'll show you a blowout, because that's what we're seeing here in Game 5 so far. The Sharks, though, get one back on the board. We'll see whether they can actually start to mount a comeback, or if they're just gonna run out the clock, try to just chalk this one up, say GG, go next.
I definitely think Texas Cyclone, with how hard we've seen him play so far in this series, I don't think he's going to give it up that easy. Despite the scoreline here, this is a tough one to come back from, but it's 2s. You got 2 minutes left, still plenty of time to work with. Texas Cyclone, once again, this net is nice and pretty, but just can't find it there off the corner post, and you're just going to see a quick counterattack from the Flames, and you just got to be scoring those if you're the Sharks.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, it was a pretty tough angle.
Yeah.
But you're right. Those are the only sorts of angles and opportunities that the Flames are even allowing to be open. So when they show up, you do have to get them. And honestly, that's a big part of what their success is this whole series. It's not so much that they're just on fire offensively. It's really that they're controlling the midfield. They're not letting anything through defensively. And so the Sharks are having to play more and more aggressive to try to get offensive opportunities and then easy counterattacks.
You see Texas Cyclone, they're getting physical. The shot assisted from Texas Cyclone. Big C buries one midfield. That's 2 goals for Big C. Sharks really trying to claw back here. And we're seeing a little bit of a comeback, but is there enough time?
Well, I mean, if It's Hyper is going to keep making the uncharacteristically bad touches like she just made there to pass it right to the Big C, I think the Sharks stand a chance. But honestly, the last 4 games worth of material shows that's super unlikely.
Yeah, DV there, once again, controlled touch. The Big C is just trying to get physical here. Unfortunately, it seems like Game 5 is a bit too late to start getting physical to try and disrupt this rotation for the Flames, who's been solid so far in this series. Texas Cyclone just unable to read that one off the backboard. And time quickly running down. The big 50 coming out from It's Hyper is going to just roll its way into the net, break out the tape measure. It's Hyper has 5 goals.
Wow, that's really all there is to it. Big C not up in time to get a 50 on that touch, and absolutely needed to be making a 50, challenge that ball as a second man. And It's Hyper, like we said it time and time again in this series, she's going to punish your mistakes.
And it's just really hard to judge that too, because the Sharks are just trying to find anything that works here, and it comes down to the Flames just being a bit of a more skilled team. That's not a knock on Texas Cyclone at all, or the Big C at all. I'm not really sure what the salaries of these players are, but it definitely seems like the Flames have been playing together for longer, and It's Hyper definitely. She has been a showcase player so far in this one. If we had a player of the week, I would definitely be throwing her up there.
Absolutely, yeah. So far, she's definitely got my vote, but it's only the first streamed match of the day, so there's still a lot of Rocket League left to play.
Yeah, and 3 more matches tonight. DV just slotting a 7th extra point to their touchdown, and the Flames are going to ultimately take this one in a clean sweep. 5-0 win for the Flames.
I think it's this point somebody's got to be in the chat with the Simpsons meme. Stop! He's already dead. just run the 6 seconds out, guys. The game's over.
Congratulations again to the Flames. They're going to take this one. Starting out this season the exact way that they want to. But the Sharks, can't count them out. Back to the drawing board. This matchup, definitely not the way they wanted it to go, but we saw some promise from them. We know what works. We know what doesn't for the Sharks, and it definitely is going to come down to how well they can adjust moving on to the next week. And it's just going to come down to watching the replays, getting some coaching sessions in with the higher ranked players there in their franchise, and just kind of rebounding and bouncing back next week.
Absolutely. And that's the important thing to take away from this. Obviously, like you said, absolutely the start that the Flames were looking for to their season. But at the end of the day, it's 5-0 out of 50 games that you had to play over the course of an MLE season. We have a long ways to go here, so don't pop the champagne just yet. Hopefully, like you mentioned, the Sharks can make a comeback here. They can treat this as a learning opportunity and grow from it. I expect to see good things out of them. They definitely, like I said earlier, have the mechanical skill to keep up with teams like this. They definitely have the chops. It's just a matter of putting it all together and stringing it together for 5 minutes at a time. Any other thoughts on our series here as we wrap up AL2s for today?
Yeah, I have no doubt that we're going to see the Sharks again. They showed a lot of promise, like I said, during this series, but the Flames again coming out on top. Congratulations, 5-0 sweep for them, and I can't wait to see them again in the future.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And that's going to wrap us up here. Again, AL2s, Flames versus Sharks. Flames take it 5-0. And coming up next year after a short intermission, we will have CL2s, the Elite versus the Dodgers. And we'll see you then.